on the weekly episode of SPORTON, and I'm not your regular host. You are used to Kabelo Boranabi, who is the host of the show. Unfortunately, this week he will not be joining us as he is under the weather for the time being. In today's episode, we will be focusing on the ITTF Africa Youth Championship that will be played here in Gaborone next week from the 15th of July to 21 July. In studio, I have the Vice President Development from ITTFA, Andrew Mudibo. I hope I said it right.
Yes. Yes.
And my colleague from Mmegi here in Mmegi, called Nkondisi Dube. I too hope I said it right. The two gentlemen, welcome to SPORTON.
Thank you.
Okay. How do you find Botswana so far?
So far, so good. The only thing which I have a problem is that in the mornings it is too cold.
Yeah, it's winter here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was expecting to get a lot of good sunshine. And then I'm struggling still to learn Botswana language. I believe by the time I leave, I should be able to have picked some words here and there.
Hopefully so.
Yes.
Mr. Lee, welcome.
Thank you.
I guess this is the first time since we had SPORTON show.
Yes, it's a good time to be here, actually.
Indeed. Mr. Mudibo, as we all know, we're all here for the ITTF Youth Championship that we have next week. So briefly, give us an overview about the competition and why Botswana. Why did Botswana get to host this prestigious competition?
Now, I'll start with why Botswana is hosting it, because for us in the International Table Tennis Federation and also in the Africa Table Tennis Federation, our main role is to make sure that we develop with our partners. In this case, Botswana Table Tennis Association is a partner of Africa. They are our members, and it is one of the strongest members who are moving very fast. Right now, I know and I'm happy that they're in Tier 1 within in sports here in Kenya, in Botswana. And there's a lot that still needs to be done. Their support needs to be given. Like I have always said it before, is that just being in Tier 1, even if you're going to add them more finances, is still not enough. It's an issue of making sure there's proper infrastructure to be able to make them to be able to be self-sustainable within the tier that they are in. I am sure with the kind of zeal that we have seen of Botswana Table Tennis Federation, it's a federation that can be able to challenge any in the world in terms of development. And the pace that they are moving, I'll not say it is a dangerous pace. It is a very encouraging pace, which we would like also other African countries and other countries in the world to also be moving in that direction.
And be aware of.
Yes. Touching on the tournament that is going to be taking place next week, this is the youth event. We're expecting a total of around 120 players, because we are looking at two categories. That is the under 19 years and the under 15 years. We are, apart from just the players, we also have the coaches and also the delegations that are going to be coming with the teams that are coming. And for this one, I would like just to give a big appreciation to the sports ministry, the support that the Botswana government has given to the Botswana Table Tennis Federation. Without that support, and without the support of partners who have come on board, the different sponsors who have come on board as partners, it would have been a tall order for them to host. But we are seeing the kind of partnership that is coming. Most of the time, when you talk about sponsorship, people look at money. But with partnership, you can also replace the side of money, because it adds value to the event.
So talking about how Botswana has been, the government has been supportive towards the hosting the competition, are you saying you are expecting a swift tournament with no hiccups or any difficulties?
There are no hiccups. You know, let me say, as far as things have been planned, we have not, and I'll talk maybe also on behalf of Botswana Table Tennis, we have not planned for any hiccups. There are certain things that hiccups can still come when an act of God happens. If that happens, it is beyond you. You can't control it. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if my colleague would like to chip in.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mudibo, for joining us. In terms of table tennis, we know that the main sporting codes in Africa particularly, it's football. We have your athletics to a lesser extent. So how does the presence of these two codes, I know you should be having your own spaces, but obviously it might have an impact in terms of, we know in terms of resources. How is this impacting on the development of table tennis?
You know, football is a mass sport. It is a mass sport because in Africa, let me say unfortunately, our politicians use football to push their agenda. They've never used table tennis. I would have loved to see politicians using table tennis to push their agenda. But for us in table tennis, I would say table tennis is a royal sport. I'm not saying football is a thuggish sport. It is not. It is still just football, and it is a sport we all play when you are young and when you start and you love. But for table tennis, it's different. If you look at what Botswana table tennis has done, for example, they have gone the entire way in terms of having players and athletes who are educated. That's why you're having athletes from Botswana table tennis who are in India studying. If they come back to the country, that is an added plus that they're going to give to the country in terms of having learned manpower, learned in different sectors of industries, which will build Botswana as a country. So when you're saying, please continue supporting all sports, not just football alone, even table tennis. Because for us, it is about the development. When you talk about talent, not all children will play football. Not all children will play table tennis. But give each one of them an opportunity to play a sport where their talent can be able to make a difference in life for Botswana and also for the world.
Yes, probably in that regard, just as a follow-up. In terms of resources, what challenges do you face as a table tennis? We know that in Africa, the challenges revolve around the issue of financial resources and infrastructure. Are you as well witnessing the same or experiencing the same within table tennis?
Yes, in table tennis, we're also having challenges in terms of finances. And that's why I had said we like what we are seeing with Botswana table tennis, because for them, it is not just about the money. It is about partnership. If I cannot, for example, have money to buy a segment on TV, then can I be able to come in and partner up with a TV company or a media company? And if they come in with partnership, that in itself is value, and it is the value that we are looking at. Yes.
They bring the match life to the people, viewers at home, which is what exactly we are looking for, so that table tennis gets to the people.
Yes, because for us, it is the talent. It is about your young one. It is about your teenagers growing. It is about you when you are retiring. Table tennis, we have seen that those who play table tennis, their minds are more sharper. It works out all the way.
Botswana Kulape, you have heard Mr. Mudibo and my colleague Mr. Dube talking about how the youth championship next week tournament will be. We'll be heading for a commercial break, and we'll still be with the two gentlemen here in the studio. Thank you.
Have you downloaded BW News app? Your one-stop shop for Botswana's leading newspapers. If not, what are you waiting for? Start reading the print editions of Botswana's leading newspapers as they appear in the newspapers on any device. The BW News app features the Midweek Sun, Botswana Guardian, Mmegi, and the Monitor, updated in an easy-to-flip-through format once the papers are printed. Our packages include current affairs, which creates seamless access for one organizational setup. You can add up to 100 users at affordable rates. After subscription, you will have access to our PDF archive from the past 1 year. You will also receive notifications on your phone as soon as the newspapers publish. You can open your favorite title and share it in text format, and also change the font size and screen light to your choosing. Too busy to flip through and read? The BW News app will read the article for you, and it can also translate from English to the language you're comfortable with. Get the BW News app from the Google Play Store and the App Store and enter a world of up-to-date news presented as it appears in the physical paper.
I said to welcome you back to our show Spot On, where we'll be continuing with the two gentlemen, Mr. Dube and Mr. Mudibo, to deliberate further on the ITTFA Youth Championships happening next week. Mr. Mudibo, maybe you could give us some of the participating countries in the tournament. I understand Africa has like 54 countries. How many countries do you have in the competition?
In the competition, we're expecting a total of, initially we had gotten around 20 that are confirmed. But we all know that the Olympic Games is just around the corner, and most of the governments are concentrating, and their priority is on the Olympics. So I know we shall be having some countries pulling out, but the total number of participants we're expecting is around 120. We're expecting around 10 countries to be coming.
10 countries from
Yes. Yes. So what we are looking at in terms of the countries, we are looking at, for example, countries like Tunisia, Uganda. We have Rwanda, we have Kenya, we have there's Algeria. So different countries are coming down. This is the countries in terms of the youth for the event itself.
When will some of the countries walk through the airport so that maybe our people can welcome them and make them feel home?
Already you have some players who are already here because they came in they came in for the Africa Hops, which Botswana is started hosting. And the Hops event is continuing, and it will end with a challenge whereby the winner of that challenge will be representing Africa in Paraguay between 1st and 7th of November.
Okay. My colleague?
Mr. Mudibo, would you say, looking at the participation over the years of this tournament, is it growing? You are obviously Vice President Development. Are you seeing any progress? Are we stagnant or we are seeing progress?
You know, growth I can put it into two. When you talk about growth, it's not just about the number of teams participating. We look at growth in terms of, is the talent going up? Are we able to compete with the rest of the world? When we look at Asia, we look at Arab world, we look at the Americas, we look at Oceania. I would say yes, we are. Because right now, for example, if you look at Egypt, one of the strongest players is Hannah Goda, who's a very young girl. We look at the current players who are here. We have Joseph of Uganda. He's been winning tournaments in the WTT circuit. So yes, we are growing. In terms of hosting, we all know that it varies. Table tennis is not funded like football. So that one obviously will bring in gaps in terms of having the numbers that we really expect. So I would say yes, we are growing, and there's a big difference. And that is why we are here in Botswana. If the sport was not growing and the numbers was not growing, I don't think Botswana table tennis would have been hosting, or Botswana as a country would be hosting us. So yes, we are growing.
Yes, maybe we want to find out if wherever the seeds that are planted, wherever you host this tournament, are we seeing any legacy projects that are left? Botswana is going to host, or we are post this, what are you going to say?
Legacy projects, yes. And when you talk about legacy project, is that earlier on I mentioned about partnership. Even in legacy projects, it's about partnership. It's about partnership of Botswana identifying an area where they want to grow. Botswana table tennis has grown, whereby they are now in Tier 1 locally. Now, what we would like to see, and this is a plea that we are giving to the government and the people of Botswana, give Botswana Table Tennis Association a piece of land where they can be able to build a permanent venue. And I can tell you, you can take it to the bank. If that is done, and with the kind of partners that they have, within the next 10 years, you shall be seeing Africa #1 and the highly ranked players from Botswana being ranked in the world. And that for me is a legacy. Because most of the time when you talk about legacy, people believe that we will come, leave a lot of things, but I can give you 100 tables and those 100 tables will go nowhere. Out of this event, there are equipment that is coming in. We have Butterfly Equipment, who are part of the sponsors for the Africa Youth event, where they have given some equipment. So in terms of equipment, yes, we usually leave equipment wherever we go, but we expect the local federation to be able to come up with programs which they can be able to impact. The Africa Hopes event that we are having, we are coaching also coaches who are staying here. That knowledge of coaches is also a legacy that remains behind here. If we talk about legacy and growth, is that within Botswana, I believe we have a participation officer. I like to call him KK because I can't pronounce those names yet. But when I manage, I will, next interview, I will mention him. He's also in the ITTFA in terms of development. So when we look at legacy, those are just part of the things that are there. And we are going in the right direction in terms of the legacy. And for the legacy to be there, we also need your support as media. How are you able to chip in? Most of the time, people look at media, that media is just there to report the negatives.
but we can also use media to grow and change perspective. And I'd like to live in a world where
media changes how people work, and it is all about positiveness. And with Botswana Table Tennis Federation, it is all about positiveness, and that is where I can see where we are.
Yeah, in terms of, we are talking about the media, in terms of spreading the game, what is your association doing from a continental perspective to actually utilize technology? We know that mostly table tennis is actually centered in urban areas. To spread this game to the remote areas, to spread it far and wide. What are you doing about it?
In terms of technology, I would say table tennis has also caught up in terms of the latest technology. If we look at around, let's say 15 years back, there was no TikTok, there was no Facebook. Then you are working with telegrams and maybe fax machines. But right now,
majority of our young ones and most of us have got smartphones. We can do recordings. Right now, Africa Table Tennis and also the International Table Tennis Federation has got websites where you can always be able to go in and get information out. Okay. And it is easy for you to push those to the farthest places that is there.
I know most of the times people say that we have to be given a table tennis table. No. A table tennis table, any table is a table tennis table. Even this table that we're having here, the young ones are able to play. And for us, that is what we want. So penetrating into the different areas of Botswana, it takes a lot also for, and it is also a responsibility of the Botswana Table Tennis Federation, because this is their territory. Yeah. We can't come into your house and tell you how you'll be eating. It is you to invite us how the meal that you have prepared. Yeah.
And that our viewers was Mr. Dube and Mr. Mudibo, my colleague and Vice President from ITTFA. As the two gentlemen, I will be saying goodbye to them. It was quite a splendid time having them in the studio. And then up next, I'll be calling up a PRO from Botswana Table Tennis Association. Thank you.
Do you want to stay in touch with the up-to-the-minute breaking news, countrywide, regional and international coverage, as well as in-depth analysis from Botswana's most trusted media house? Then head over to www.mmegi.bw, where you can also enjoy access to premium articles, long reads, features, and exclusive opinions. Whether you're looking for updates on politics, health, education, business and the economy, or sports, and many more, we have you covered. Sign up on the website and choose a package suitable for you. We also have packages for organizations at affordable rates. Visit www.mmegi.bw and enjoy the finest journalism and news you need to know.
Ke re ke tse sebaka se jo go amogela gape to our show Sport On. In the first part of the episode, we were with Mr. Mudibo and Mr. Dube, who is my colleague. Onto this part, I will be with Tshegofatso Malepa, as I had said, the PRO from ITTFA, to talk more about the ITTF competitions next week. Welcome, Tshegofatso Malepa. Okay, thank you. So, Tshegofatso Malepa, briefly, it's a matter of first for us, so we are hosting this competition for us for the first time. So just tell us, how has the preparations been about from hosting and the players also?
I would say when we start first talking about the players, we had our first camp Mmegi. We are looking at the fact that we are dealing with school-going kids, our players that we are using. We had to strategically put our camps during school holidays to afford them that enough time to study, as well as try to have coach after that so that they can continue where they left. So we have our players that are based in 3 areas, in being Muchudi, Mobundleng, as well as Kumabela Budi. Kumabela Budi, we had Coach Bizo, who is also in charge of our Babanaha project there. We also have Coach Brown, who is coaching competition Reneilwe as his father also. And based on we also had Jalo coach Mayona to coach Banaba go or Bundling area project Table Tennis Association. So we had to hire these coaches for any elapse between what they were trained on at Kempe and going forth now real progress towards the competition. As we speak, hopes others are supposed to report to camp this weekend. Quality exam now they're going to the midterm break. I would say it's very fortunate for us for this competition during the school holidays. Our players, they are going to be reporting for camp on Sunday, which is a good thing. And currently we have players for Renelo Lokore and Bukamongele. They qualified last year the regional hopes weekend challenge. They qualified for the current going competition, ITTF hopes weekend challenge. And then now we have 2 more players by virtue of hosting. They are currently being trained by coach Evangela, who is from England. She's assigned to the hopes week. Mind you, we are hosting 2 continental events back to back. We are currently in the hopes week. 5 days get training. The coach is going to be laying the foundation what is needed, because we believe for the top 3 ranked players from the region Zabone. We have Joseph, who is playing the world contender. We have Renelo from Botswana. He's ranked number 1. He's ranked number 2 most Southern Africa. So we are trying to have him playing Lebabangwe so that when now the challenge we can gauge in Africa because we know originally now going back to the ITTF Africa Youth Championships, we are expecting maybe 15 to the 21 competition daily 9 a.m. around 9:30 p.m.
You spoke about a lot of things that I would have maybe asked as we continue the show. I feel like you took some of my questions. But in your address, you raised a lot of issues like different logistics, different time schedules. So, I mean, like, should we be worried because you encountered those problems? Like, our players are ready for this Magnesia's competition that is about to happen next week. Are we well ready to face off these competitions? The outgoing president, the vice president who we had on the show, raised about key players from Uganda and Tunisia. So are we able to take on those players?
I would say we are ready. Looking at our number 1 ranked players, Bamo the hopes currently. The thing is, we are going into the competition to compete, yes, but we are not putting a lot of our pressure on our athletes. Looking at the fact that they are still under development, they are not yet in that professional era where we can say we want results. So we believe the next competition, that is when now we can say we need results. But looking at this one that we are going to be playing from the 15th, we are basically looking at to identify where redevelop. Our target is LA 28. This one being the first continental competition where our development players by under 15 and 19. We are looking more to identify where we are lacking so that we correct, so that we can have Renele match the level of Joseph, continuously taking part in international tournaments. The more our athletes are exposed, the more they will get that experience where they would need to match their counterparts.
Now let's talk about hosting this competition. You talk about it's a platform for our local athletes, particularly the table tennis athletes, to show themselves and so I'm asking, what exactly does it mean for us? So for these athletes, so what do you hope to see from them after these competitions?
I believe Haribuaka development the under 12. We are looking at the heart of table tennis, looking at the fact that school sport. We had to now sit on the table, re-strategize what can we do, looking at the fact that national team progress. We have the same people time and again by national team, the youthful by the national national team. They have now reached their peak of their career. They are now about to retire. The new blood, the new players,
new generation.
Our national team. That is why the development project is through the sponsored Botswana. Project ITTFA specifically. That is where area majority of this national team players in this catchment ITTFA. That is where we need to invest in this player. That is why on a fund we had allocated 40% of the budget development. Allocated through coach training, the empire. We need to be present across. We need to have those coaching clinics. We need to have those training locally. I can level the competitions that are there is small development there. The medal. We had to now progress to they can win the food hamper, going on to winning Mmegi. Where we are at a semi-professional level. We are striving to be a professional body. I would say that is our progress.
As time is against us, briefly give us your predictions for the competition. Like, who are some of the athletes that we can expect some fireworks from, or maybe to walk away with a podium finish?
Total, we have a large pool of talented players. A lot can happen. So I don't want to put any player on the spotlight because I don't want to put any player on the spotlight or put pressure on them. But like to university we have currently the ongoing hopes week and challenge 14, and then the 15th very similar the ITTF Africa Youth Championship. Still 16 players, but I advise and encourage more especially I believe so that we can have a large pool of players. We are targeting from 5 years old going forward. So okay,
Malepa, thank you for coming to the show, and it was really a good time having you on to this show. We had in the studio and Mr. Mudibo Kenya as the Vice President of ITTF Africa. Mmegi and the Mountain newspapers will be bringing the games to you live or the whole week from the 15th to the 21th of July. So you can check the games. If you are not able to go there physically, you can watch them live on these Facebook pages. Remember, it's Mmegi newspaper online and the Mountain newspapers online. I go by the name of Laruna Kaiser, and I was just standing in for Kabelo Boranabi, who is the host of the show. Thank you.